my friends, and just like before, I can say that the situation along the front line has stabilized. On the contrary, today the attacks are only increasing. But despite this, the Ukrainian Armed Forces, following a new plan, are moving towards Crimea, while Russians are advancing along the entire rest of the front line. Let's start right away with the Kherson direction. Here, the occupiers are trying to shell the frontline settlements to prevent the Ukrainian Armed Forces from advancing further. However, our units are actively shelling the occupiers both along the front line and in their rear. Yesterday, the occupiers' headquarters were successfully hit with preliminary reports of 11 Russians eliminated. It's evident that this direction is preparing for liberation. Reports also continue to come in that the Ukrainian Armed Forces are gradually expanding their foothold for further offensive actions, so we are waiting to see how events will unfold. For now, there are no changes along the front line, and the occupiers continue to complain about their difficult situation.
Kherson direction, consolidation of the armed forces of Ukraine in the landings near Kherson. The situation as of 12:00 on November 10, 2023. Heavy fighting continues on the left bank of the Dnipro, in the village of Kreminna. Assault detachments of the Kherson strike group of the Ukrainian Navy are storming the landings adjacent to the settlement. The day before, as a result of the fighting, Ukrainian formations were able to partially gain a foothold in the forest belt to the south, occupying several positions and equipping observation posts on them. Having achieved little success, the Marines of the 35th Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine intended to advance deep into the forest, but fell into an organized ambush. 3 assault detachments of the Ukrainian Navy surrendered in the amount of 11 people.
Overall, we hope that the Russians' problems this time will allow our troops to advance to Crimea and carry out a successful counteroffensive. Moreover, due to these events, even Strelkov, who is awaiting trial, has decided to write a massive article analyzing the front. I will show you a small part because there is very interesting information.
In this regard, the Kherson, Dnipro, front still seems to me to be the most dangerous direction, where the combination of natural factors gives the enemy some objective advantages. It is on this front, in the swampy floodplain, that the armed forces of Ukraine can, and are trying, to realize their superiority in the number of infantry, while the use of heavy military equipment, tanks and armored vehicles, in this area is difficult. The enemy's goal here is and remains the creation and expansion of bridgeheads on the left bank of the Dnipro, covered by artillery fire from the right bank. Bridgeheads threatening the Crimean Isthmus by the shortest distance to them. I can't say for sure, there is little data, but the enemy apparently managed to create some tactical bridgeheads. But as long as they have not grown to several kilometers in width and depth, until heavy equipment has been transferred to them, they cannot pose a serious threat to us. I assume that in the coming weeks the enemy will try to create/expand such bridgeheads, without leaving active diversionary actions in other sectors of the front.
And we have seen this today. Discussions about mobilization have only focused on contractors, but one should never underestimate the enemy. We have made such a mistake before, so we are waiting to see how events will unfold. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, just yesterday there were claims of calm, and today Russian offensive actions have resumed from the flanks. It seems they are not abandoning their plans to regain control of this territory and nullify the Ukrainian counteroffensive. There is also a significant amount of shelling both in the Robotyne area and along the front line. Our units hold their positions and don't retreat, although their situation is challenging. In the Vuhledar direction, The occupiers managed to make some progress closer to Staromayorsk, and battles continue in the approaches to the village. Attacks have also resumed towards Zolota Niva. However, all offensive actions in Persists area have been halted, with the Ukrainian forces successfully dispersing the advancing enemy groups. Shelling continues along the entire front line in significant amounts. In the Avdiivka direction, the situation remains complex as the occupiers attempt to break through to the city. Ukrainian Armed Forces repel all attacks, but the fact that the enemy is gradually advancing closer is evident. The situation is extremely challenging, with our units under constant fire from both artillery and FPV drones, complicating the defense of positions. Yesterday's attacks on the northern part of the city were repelled, and today the Russians are conducting offensive actions around the Kherson chemical plant, attempting to gain control of the territory near the plants to facilitate further advancements and attacks on Avdiivka itself. Meanwhile, battles persist in the eastern part of the city, where the enemy is trying to get closer to the outskirts. Offensive actions in the southern fields also continue. In the Bakhmut direction, the occupiers continue to advance towards Bohdanivka, while in the areas of Ivanivske and Khromove, the Ukrainian Armed Forces have successfully repelled all attacks, and for now only Shelling is reported. Further south, in Klishchiivka area, battles are ongoing, and evidently the attacks are occurring near the outskirts of the village. The Russians claim to have reached the outskirts, and we await information from the Ukrainian side. In this direction, it can be noted that the occupiers have shifted from defense to offense. The Ukrainian Armed Forces were making successful advances in this sector, but the Russians decided to exert pressure in numbers to turn the situation in their favor. We'll see how long they can sustain this. In the Kreminna and Siversk areas, shelling continues, but there is not much Russian activity, and no offensive actions are being conducted. In the Svatove area, Russian forces are becoming more active. They have initiated attacks not only on Novoiehorivka, but have also resumed battles on the approaches to Stelmakhivka. So far, there are no reported successes, but the fighting continues. In the Kupiansk direction, the occupiers persist in battles around Synkivka. However, near Ivanivske, there is currently an increase in shelling, possibly indicating artillery preparation before launching further attacks. According to the Ukrainian Armed Forces, based on information from captured occupiers, the task for the Russians in this direction is to completely capture Kupiansk. Meanwhile, Putin, during one of the conferences, inquired from the head of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Ecology of the Russian Federation how many years the ice has been lying in Antarctica. They are discussing important state matters. Maybe it seems like they are discussing what territories to attack next.
Если Керну этому 1 200 000 лет, значит 1 200 000 лет на этом месте был лед, да? Или как?
Да, Владимир Владимирович, совершенно верно. Но самое главное, эти результаты нам помогут материально и технически обосновывать все изменение климатической повестки, которая сейчас так бурно обсуждается на международном уровне.
А может, вода потом замерзла? Не 1 200 000 лет назад, а поближе к нам? Какой, может быть?
Владимир Владимирович, это атмосферный лед. Все-таки мы считаем, наука говорит пока, что все-таки, это так, вот, первый раз ответил.
And is all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.